Hello, Miss Soul Drunk. Today we're going to talk about the way I plan things. So I use like a little Inklings calendar. This was my little chili pepper, um, like kind of keychain, but I just attached it to it, so it's kind of nice. I've had it for I think about 2 years, and I wanted to put it on my purse, but it just kept getting like ripped off. So I'm just going to put it on my calendar. So with my calendar, I have just a few odds and ends I need to put away because those are private. And then you have like the always fully booked of like who you are. Then you have your goals, and then you have like your reading checklists. So I just kind of read. I put them how I finish them and just go down in order. So there is a ton of pages like that just for much you read. I don't read that much every year. It's just because I'm also a writer, so I like to write my things, and then I reread my own book like 80 million times to make sure it's actually good. So I read a lot with more of my own work, which is not pretentious. It's extremely annoying, not gonna lie, reading the same thing over and over again, but you gotta make it somewhere. Then you have your cute little like library thing. You go in here. These are all the ones I read. Normally I do a TBR one here, and then I highlight whenever I was done with them to actually like cut them off. But I haven't really gotten that far yet. And we have our book series tracker. I don't really read too many series. I always try to, but usually if I do read them, I just kind of finish them. You can see that I'm already ripping through what is it, the Game Changers, which is Heated Rivalry series. Then we go into quotes. I like to put the little sticker of the book I had the quote from. So there's a ton of those. Sorry, I'm hiccupy. I went to a 5-year-old's birthday party and jumped a lot. This is the pre-orders page. I need to update it because I have a few more pre-orders coming through. And then if you have a lot of pre-orders going on, you have 2 pages for all of those. This is the author backlist series. I need to update this because I have a ton of on my TBR that needs to go right back to because I try to give authors multiple reads to see whether or not they make it up to my top 5. Then we have our rereads page, which I already have one. And normally I don't reread stuff every year. I think last year I did the most rereading I have done in a while. I usually just try to pick up new books, but this is a good page for me to try to challenge myself to reread stuff. Then the music one, you just pick a song or an album that you like for that. I kind of like it because I'm really into music, but I haven't been into it very long because I'm getting old and everything is just, not as good as it used to be. So that's my cat. It scared me a little bit. This is the movie tracker. We haven't seen too much lately, but we try to get back into it. We kind of go into like these spurts of let's watch movies and let's lay on the couch. Then we have the TV series tracker. I usually don't consume too much media, but when I do, I'll track it because it's just fun. And this is our book club picks page of 2026. So far, we had one book that has us January, February, and then early March. I have not finished it. Don't tell anyone. This is my 5-star reads area. I haven't had much already, but then again, I'm not a huge numbers kind of reader. I read books and then track them. Then I have the did not finish. This is new. I've not used one of these before yet, and I haven't not finished. I usually drop 3 or 4 out of the year. This is also a new challenge. It's kind of like what is it, like the high school book memory kind of challenge. So that's interesting to try to do. This is the A through Z challenge. I've been kind of going through it. I've been a little on and off. There's so many challenges in here. I probably won't actually do them all, but this is the Little Inklings challenge. So they have different things of like a book with stars on the cover. So like it's all pretty reasonable to do, and there's a few of them like a new release that's kind of harder, but I mean it's all pretty relevant, and it's just a fun challenge that I usually tend to do this one except for like 1 or 2 once in a while. But this is a challenge that's extremely doable. Then we have the on the cover challenge over here. So I just find things on the cover for it. Usually it's always just stuff I read rather than like reading for the challenge. And then same thing for the reading rainbow. Just whatever I do read has that primary color on it. I just kind of fill it through. So I usually fill all these. These are the challenges I normally do up top, which is the genre reading challenge, just to make it more fun for myself. And reading through the ages, I never do because it's just hard for me to actually try to want to get into those challenges once in a while. Then I have the Around the World challenge. I don't really read, or like the first time I ever actually completed it, I was like cookbooks around the world. And then for the last years after that, I try to find recipes of these areas and cook a meal out of those. So like what this country of Western Europe, I'll try to make a French recipe or something and then mark it off from there. Make it a little bit more entertaining rather than just always reading, because I don't really have all the time in the world for reading everything, but I thought it was a nice little get, that. Then we have the 26 books of 2026. And usually whatever I have on my TBR, I shove on here. Like last year, 25 out of 2025, it was just everything on my TBR. And normally I try to pick things up off of my TBR. So I just filled it all in and just completed it that way. This is new too. I have a bingo card already made up because I have this Discord of my friends doing Bookopoly, and I make like different squares. So I did make a summer bingo board. So I might just fill in this bingo board and try to compete against my sister-in-law or something. That'd be fun, actually. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket. If anyone's interested in actually doing a summer bingo board, I will post it on TikTok or Instagram, and we can just go from there if we wanted to do that. Then this is new too, is the Tetris. You can see the primary color I am reading is pink, and I have to make sure that they don't touch because now that's my own personal goal. Then we have into reading goal tracker. I kept the same color as the Tetris over here, but I need to buy more of the little inkling stickers of the audiobooks because, yeah, this is my physical one, but these are all audio. I just need to put them back in here. So it's a nice way to track that. And then we have the Battle of the Books. So it's just like it's kind of like a bracket. So like in March I pick something, in February I'm about to pick something. I'm kind of undecisive between two. And we go through there and then whoever wins at the end. So I do all of these, and then at the end of the year me and my husband will make our own brackets. And then we go from there and have a great time with that. A mood tracker, don't look at it too closely. And then you have your reading stats. So you have your monthly reading stats all broken down here for your total stats. Then you have your genre stats. I always feel like the genre tallies is never really helpful because I just read so many genres, so it doesn't kind of work. At the end of the year, though, I try to do it month by month of just like how many audio pages or how many other pages are done. You just kind of put it in here. It gets filled up by the end of the year. And then you have the genre reads. That's usually at the end of the year stuff. So there's always these bunch of blank dot pages for like the Bookopolies and stuff like that. I usually will just black it out and start putting the Bookopolies in there so I could have my own board for each year. So it would be easy for me to see and document. So I usually put like the board and the rules, and then I do like what I do. Or if we do the team concept, what our team does, and then the end game. Then I have another few pages that I like to do for quarterly on top of quarterly on top of quarterly. So I make like little flip up pages, and it was kind of nice to see like which quarters I read more in. And then this is just slop for like everything that I have read, but I could print it out because it's just paper with tape on the end. I kind of just do that. So this is all taped, so it's easy for me to pick up and put back down. So it's just kind of slop extra. And you go into like the normal January, so it's like the January calendar, and then it goes into like the weeklies. And so I try to put like on my posting schedule and stuff like that. This is just all kind of like me. Then I start a scrapbook too with it a little bit of like, this is already what I'm showing of like what I'm doing. So I just kind of put the things I've gotten, or like grocery deliveries, or like date night, and I'll just put them in there. So for like my birthdays, all the cards go in here. So it's kind of like journalism and scrapbooking together, but in this little book. So every time they have like bigger spirals, I always go for the bigger ones because it just always is. And I also use it a lot more high damage or high use than everybody else. Hi, Rye. Then you kind of go into at the end of the month. There's this what you hauled in here for like, of course, a video that you want to do, and then you go into your tracker. So how I got all of this information is right. So this is like all of your information. I put the books that I read down here, what stars they were, what how many hours I listened to or pages. And then you have all the breakdown here. So like how many you did, what your average rating is, what your pages are, what the formats are, what your best one is, etc., etc. Then I like to include movies and stuff like that. And then you always have an excess page behind, and I like to do quick spurts of what I read and an easier way to see that. Sometimes I like to put movies and TV shows on it just for a quick, easy reference. Then it goes straight into like February and rinse and repeat until you get into a quarter wrap up. You go into a quarterly wrap up, which obviously I'm not here yet. So then I need to fill all this out, but it goes into like your goals, what your favorite things are, what you can be accomplishing, what are your favorite memories. And I really enjoy all of that to fill it out. But that's how I've been tracking everything. I highly recommend Little Inklings. They're always sold out. I always have to try to get it faster and everything. Like, part of the whole thing is this ending tab here are the reviews. So you have everything just set up for you to have a like like the title, author, when you read it, what format, how'd you do it, what your reading dates are, how did you read it, what's your star level, all this good stuff that I would normally have to hand jam and make. It's already here, so it's kind of nice, and it's a lot of reviews. Like this is like just like an empty one. So I think it's really nice and extremely helpful for people who don't have enough time to actually create a binder for themselves all the time. And I thought about making my own binder when I just like, okay, this is the time to do it. Pop an audiobook and read it and just like go. But oh, the zipper pages. But I just liked how this is made. This is actually settling for everything that I have my needs for. Since they're getting the bigger spirals, it's just been so much easier for my scrapbooking for it. And at the end of the year, it's 4 times at this size. So I can't wait, and I highly recommend all of these. Just don't steal one from me, please, in 2027. Thank you. I hope this helps for anybody else. Thank you for your time.